It's just kind of funny because I grew up reading, and I'm a voracious reader, and I'll generally read 3 or 4 books at any one time. And many years ago, my dad said, "Hale, boy, how did you get reading? To read so much." I said, "Dad, from you." And he said, "From me?" I said, "Dad, yeah, I have all these memories, vague memories of you having books and reading." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, you were always reading." And he says, then he laughed. He says, "Hale, the only time I read was when I was studying to get my GED." But he had left such a profound influence on me that Dad was reading, that I wanted to be like him. We're to provide for our family. Not a day goes by, Dad, when we do not think about how we're going to provide for our family. Our identity is so wrapped up in providing, with a mixed sense of embarrassment and pride. A teenage boy told me this week that his dad, who is a vice president of a well-known company, is having extreme difficulty in this economy. So his dad, a vice president, had to cut all the salaries, including his own. And his dad has taken a night job collecting trash for a waste disposal company so that his wife can be home with their 5 children. Because the dad wants the mother to be there to raise the children and not some program or their children's friends. The battle for your home is also spiritual. That is the need to keep bringing your children into the presence of God, because you know that Jesus isn't just for women and children. It is the reason that Friday comes and we feel beaten up and chewed up. That's Friday nights during the school year. Marine Captain John King and I don cherry red polo shirts, march in circles, waving our hands, sitting in itty-bitty orange chairs, helping 5,000 whiny, screaming, smiling, crying Sparkies memorize their verses. Because it's all worth it when our daughters get to know personally this Jesus, memorize his words, and love those whom he loves. And they see it's important enough that their daddies are there. We have our private battles, dads, primarily to control our urges, especially to be loving towards our wives when we're stressed out. And as nicely as we can, tell her, "Honey, it's okay to get to the point." And be understanding when there's no point. And try to listen as best as we can, even though we aren't hairy girlfriends. Because the Lord said we're to love our wives as Christ loved the church. Stay the course, be strong and very courageous, obey all the laws Moses gave you. Do not turn away from them, and you will be successful in everything you do. Study this book of the law continually, meditate on it day and night, so you may be sure to obey all that is written in it. Only then will you succeed. The Lord promises us success, but he doesn't owe it to us. It must have taken Joshua's breath away to hear the Lord repeat the exact same promise that he had said previously in Deuteronomy 11 to Moses. That if Moses followed everything the Lord had told him to do, he would have led the people into the promised land. But because Moses allowed the nagging, complaining people to get to him, he lost the guaranteed blessing. And it must have seized Joshua's heart when he saw and heard the bitter, repenting cries of Moses and Aaron, asking the Lord to give them another chance. I've personally known so many men who started out strong, clearly gifted, and blessed by the Lord, but who so tragically flamed out because they allowed the enemy to wear them down. They allowed the enemy to disguise a lack of trust that the Lord will provide financially as needing to provide for their families. Or get sucked into relying on the applause of men or women for their self-worth, disguised as doing good work. In the end, they undermined their families with their lusts, and while probably assured of their salvation, disqualified themselves for the best blessing the Lord has for them. With the words, "Be strong and very courageous," the Lord was saying to Joshua, the biggest battle would not be against the enemies that would occupy the promised land, rather to not allow others and himself to distort the Lord's words whenever he was hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and stressed. So God's plea to him was to keep his promises and his words close to him. Psalms 119, 10-11, "With my whole heart I have sought you. Oh, let me not wander from your commandments. Your word have I hidden in my heart, that I might not sin against you." An army of one God. I command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. And at the end, in Joshua, when he's about to leave the earth, he says this: "But as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord."